so chatty. He's so chatty. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Chatty boy. Yeah. Chatty boy. I love these fuzzy ones. I don't know their name. I don't know any names except for I think those are coneflowers. The fuzzy ones are cute. I like them. And then I do know partridge peas. That's the ones that the bumblebees like. Bill said there's bumblebees and carpenter bees, and he said that the carpenter bees have a shiny butt, which I mean, I know that they're big, carpenter bees. The only thing is it's like taking over the whole area, which looks kind of, I mean, I think it's great. On the one hand, it's a little wild for sitting. He's sitting among the bees, which I don't mind. I'm not that scared of bees or anything. Bumblebees don't really sting as much. But it's a little crazy. They've come up through all the cracks. It's kind of taking over. The non-invasive has become a bit invasive. But on the other hand, that's okay. It's all good. It's all good, isn't it, Mr. T? Just getting some footage here, which I'm going to try and start logging for you guys. And then I'll get into regular posting again. Is that a bug? Oh no, it's a bee on there. Bees, bumblebees. Probably hear them humming. Hum of bumblebees. It's really quite delightful. You coming with us, Mr. T, for the walk? You coming with us? Okay. That's nice. Yeah, it's crazy how it looks. There's lots of other yellow flowers. Back there's other black-eyed Susan, brown-eyed Susan, and then it's like yellow and purple, which is interesting. In there's a beautiful purple flower. I don't want that. I don't know what that one is. Yep. And then there's a pretty white one over here. Let's come over here. It's kind of nice. Gotta be careful, but I'm okay. This one here, I think that's lilac, and then this is kind of becoming rather wild in a nice way, all purple. I don't know what this one is, the pale purple. I'll try and maybe add the names when I find them out from Bill, but as you can see, it's kind of wild. We have a wild garden, and he is a wild one. The club, it's a group, it's an organization dedicated to rewilding. He's the treasurer of our Southwest Ohio branch. And he's done a good job of rewilding our yard. Yeah, so that's that. Welcome to the vlog. Yeah, and I'll talk to you inside soon about everything. Very nice. It looks like a regular bee, which are not so common in our yard. We have the bumbles. See, that's a bumble. I think that's a bumble. Yeah, it's bigger. That's bigger. Mr. T's eating grass. He's eating grass. Yeah, you're gonna throw up if you eat grass. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, The Grim Reader. I am Kathy Grimm, The Grim Reader. That's the name of my channel. And I am back home in my place from Germany, where I spent 7 weeks hanging out mainly and not doing too much, but doing a few things and avoiding the heat, because we had a couple of heat waves, as you may have heard. And so the main reason, of course, why I was there was to attend my sister's post-official wedding big bash, which was at the end of May and was wonderful. It seems very far away now, but it was really fun and casual and great food and good conversations and really nice people. All her people are fun, their group of friends. And it was in this very sort of laid back restaurant that catered good food and drinks in Wiesbaden, in a sort of more outside of the actual town, but sort of a more quiet area of Wiesbaden. And so the other big thing was what is going to go down in history in my mind as the hot wedding at the end of June, right in the smack dab in the middle of the second heat wave. My cousin got married, and it was warm. It got progressively warmer. It started out okay in the where they actually got married, and everyone looked really nice. The bride looked beautiful. And then we went to the Italian restaurant where it was pretty warm and we were all, using our fans. And then the rest of the party was at their apartment where, aside from a couple of borrowed fans, people in Germany are going to have to get more into getting at least fans, if not AC. People sat around making the best of a very warm apartment. It was, outside it was probably almost 100, and inside this warm apartment with 30 people, it was okay, and it was, great food and drinks, but it was warm. And so we managed to stay until about 6 or 7, having been there since 10 in the morning. And that's when we kind of bowed out because I wasn't doing that well. And I think we did we managed pretty well for that many hours in the warm heat. I'm drinking my coffee in my favorite cup, trying to get into a sort of nice post trip and beginning of retirement routine, and thinking about the future and plans and all that good stuff, and a kind of trying to sort of keep things not too hectic. I don't know why. Things are not really hectic because I have plenty of time. And my health is okay, except a day or two ago, it was just yesterday, I must have turned the wrong way, and I think I've sprained muscles in the thoracic area of my spine, as opposed to where my main pains are in the lumbar area, the lower down. But now the mid area has been sort of affected, so that I have to be careful. Yesterday, or when it happened, did it happen the day before? No, it was yesterday. It must have happened. And it was pretty bad, to the point where I was wondering if I need to call in and see if I can get muscle relaxants. But I think I'm good. I think it really is just a strain, and it's better today. And as long as I don't, of course I'm doing silly things and looking for books and messing around. If I just sort of take it slow and not do too much, I should be okay. Next week, I'm getting a lumbar steroid injection to the lower part, where I have my stenosis. And I want to be okay for that. I might have to mention this other pain, but I don't want to have to sort of talk to them earlier than necessary about it. And, everything's good there. Let's see. So the last video was me finishing the effinges, which I've sort of moved away from. I don't have the book anymore. And I think it is a bit of a specialized book, because it was this this German author, a German Jewish author, who was smart enough to leave Germany early on, and she resided then. Actually, she went to Palestine. I mentioned that for a little while, but she didn't like Palestine. And she quickly moved to England, and that's where she sort of settled. Gabrielle Tergit was her pseudonym, and I forget her real name. And so one last thing I'll say about the novel, because people keep connecting it to Buddenbrooks and Fontana's works. And to me, the fact that it was a whole big, long cast of characters who sort of, some would come to the foreground and some to the background, and it was very episodic. For that reason, it almost reminded me a little bit of Anthony Powell's Dance to the Music of Time. Not, of course, that was very British and even longer, but this sort of coming and going of that you kind of are just wandering with them, seeing their lives. And there was at least one section where it did kind of remind me of that silly movie Slacker, where you just kind of are moving along with this person and experiencing whoever she encounters in this crazy Berlin of the Weimar era, party time, party night. And that kind of reminded me of some aspects of Power, where he would just wander along, meeting people and going to parties. So that kind of casual aspect to it. And then it made me think of other people, sort of that kind of work. So even Forsyte Saga, although it's not exactly like Forsyte Saga, except it's the fact that it is a saga of a family. And it made me sort of think again, go back to this series that I set aside, Lawrence Durrell's that quartet, the Alexander Quartet, that I didn't like the beginning of because I wasn't in the mood for sort of a centering of a first world person's view of this other area. It didn't bother me as much with Olivia Manning in Balkan Trilogy, maybe probably because she's from a female perspective and she herself was a bit of an outsider. But anyway, I might go back to it. I have it in my... This is the problem with when you take books off your shelves and think you get rid of them, and then you see them again and you think, no, maybe I'll give it another try. So I don't know. So anyway, the family saga is over, and what I've settled into now for this little time of reading, I do want to get back to the two big books. Specifically, I'm looking at them. I'm not going to lean over because of my back. So Peter Weiss's Aesthetics of Resistance. I want to finish the first novel of the three, and I just have a big one, so they're all together. But I think if I set my mind to it and read a little bit every day, I can finish the first novel. And then I've kind of, even that has taken me so long because I've only read a little bit here and there. And it's amazing how even reading a couple of pages is just still great. I mean, it's still worthwhile. And I'm not losing the thread too much because I know what's going on. It's just these people having their experiences in there. It is very talky. They're just talking to each other. They're having these discussions about, it's really interesting. I'll go into it more, how to resist and how, Marxist takes on things, and how sort of critiquing Stalin and sort of being sad about what happened there in terms of the whole project, I guess, of revolution or whatever. So I'll get into it more. It's just, I love it. I really love that book, even though I'm going at it very slowly. So the one I've picked up has been on my shelves for a while, but I really am excited to finally get to Hild by Nicola Griffith, this fictional fictional novel, historical novel based on Saint Hilda of Whitby, of whom I know basically almost nothing, which I guess in a way makes the fact that this is fictional fine, because I'm not going to be like, well, this isn't who she really was. She was a saint she's connected to the Christianization of England, which is interesting. And she lived in 7th century Britain. So this is sort of early medieval times, which is a time I don't know that well, historically speaking, especially not England. Early Middle Ages, St. Hilda of Whitby. And her kind of, I guess it's in a sort of sense, her growing up and her coming into her own as a powerful woman in early times. And so Nicola Griffith, I think she went back to get a PhD to sort of know, make the historical aspects, add authority and authenticity to the descriptions of England, or how they interact in their worlds, and what kind of, how they move through space. And it's sort of, right now she's following a king, and she's the seer of the king. So she's a prophet, sort of, and of course she's kind of making it up as she goes along. I mean, that's basically probably what seers always did. So that's kind of interesting. And I do love the style. Yesterday, when I was feeling very sore, what I did was I made my husband, Bill, who's doing well, download the audio of it as well. But I wanted to sort of read and listen. I'm still a little bit like, I think I prefer to just read and not listen. Although the read is very good. So if you're sort of wary, and actually a good reason to do it is I do have hard time with the Old English. And so there's different languages that we're dealing with here. An early form of English with A, Old English, Anglish, and then Ancient British, which I don't really know much about at all, Brythonic, Latin, of course, and also Old Irish. Nicole says here, I won't attempt to codify the pronunciation of Old Irish. It's defeated better than me. But she does kind of give a gloss on how the pronunciation, but I'm not really into phonetics. I don't know why I have an issue with phonetics. So I kind of like the person reading it seems to easily move through all the difficult sort of different languages and names of people and names of places, and that is actually quite helpful, even for someone like me who should know better, should be better at this stuff. But so anyway, it's a very good read. It's very sort of course, female-centered. I think she very female-centered, and yeah, so that's going to be great. It's not a quick read, is what I'm going to say. There's one video out there by, I think, the raconteur Jack, the rambling raconteur, I forget. And he talks about how do you chew your books. And I kind of like that one where he talks about how do you read quickly? Do you read slowly? The kind of how, because I have such stuff that I've noticed there with myself. And I always say that I'm a very slow reader because I am. It's partly because I'm sort of, chewing too much sometimes almost. And I notice that when there are books that are coming my way that I just decide to read for whatever reason, they do go very quickly. It's a completely different way of reading when you're just kind of reading to sort of for the plot or to see what happens. And it's not my favorite way of reading, to be honest. But that's just interesting. I might come back to that. I've given you a little bit of garden footage beforehand, and I think what I'm going to do is take you through the rest of my day. Oh, experience some pain when I turn. Turning is the worst. It's specifically to do with just plan. Well, actually, all the stuff I want to do, and I have to be careful because I can't do everything I want to do if it involves moving too much. Go through office boxes in the garage. Not going to happen today. And I'm having sort of plenary, just kind of deciding how to sort of structure. This is my bullet journal where I've been pretty faithfully bullet journaling, or I made this overview of a research project that I'm interested in that I could tell you about at some point. I want to get back to doing my reading log, which I didn't do for the whole 7 weeks. I just started it yesterday for the first time. So we have Hild in there. And with Hild, I want to try and at least do 10 a day, which isn't very much. I should do 20 a day. But, 10 is a minimum. And I think that's doable. And if I at least do 10 a day, we'll slowly move forward. Slowly, but it will move forward. I'm trying to get back into post-crossing. I want to write the new one that has been picked for someone in Colorado. And sort of silly, boring things like replenish my meds, which I'm pretty bad at. I'm pretty bad at sort of adulting things sometimes because of my, I don't know if it's laziness or just why I'm bad at certain things. Let's see, anything else? Get back to, so one of the projects that I'm doing, I'll just tell you a little bit about that and then I'll stop, is this YouTube lady who's a professor where my best friend Freddie teaches at Pomona College. Ellie Anderson has a brilliant YouTube channel and a podcast, and she's a philosophy professor, and she has this on her Substack, and sort of she's done this Google spreadsheet type thing. It's a class called Self and Identity, and so I'm taking the class, and I haven't quite decided. Like, I listened to the first introductory episode and it was wonderful, and I'll have to see if I really want to take dedicated notes or keep my notes or just kind of listen to her speak and only take notes in terms of what is of interest to me, my own sort of interests, kind of not do typical note taking. And so I've watched the first video, and the next video contains a chapter of a book that I was looking for in my books, because I'm pretty sure I have it in the boxes, unless I did decide to give it away. This is going to happen a lot. Did I give it away? Do I still have it? Here we go. But it's a chapter from a famous book, sort of about conceptions of self throughout history from a philosophical standpoint by Charles Taylor. But anyway, so that's fun, and that's kind of my first sort of project that I'm doing, and I have other projects. The main one that I have the outline for is about memory, and sort of the big thing there is to go back to Proust, to read Proust. So at some point I want to get back to Proust. I have so many things I want to read. Of course, there's the Zola series, there's other series that I want to finish, and a whole bunch of authors I want to get to. One that comes to mind right now is Umberto Eco. I've never read Eco, and I'm wondering about, should it be Name of the Rose, which it's interesting that the abbey where they filmed the movie is very close to Wiesbaden, and it could have been an outing, which didn't happen for various reasons. But, or do I want to read a different Echo? I was just looking at the plot of a different one. It sounded fascinating. It sounded actually more interesting than, I don't really know Name of the Rose, what it's actually about. I know that at some point it gets sort of more semiotic, I think, and sort of more meta. And then I did start it and wasn't a long time ago and wasn't really ready for it, I don't think. So Echo's someone I want to read, and then of course all the stuff connected to memory, and all other stuff that's just kind of on there, like the new Knausgård, to keep up with that series that I read. So yeah, my sort of TBR, I guess. And in terms of the channel, I'm sort of wondering, you know, I'm drawn a little bit in terms of my own watching to channels that do sort of seasonal reading and seasonal TBRs, even though then I don't really do them. I don't really read that way. I always had this idea that I'll sit down and read a cozy fall book or a cozy summer book or whatever, and then I end up just reading what I want to read. So I'm a bit sort of, I don't know what the word is, contrary in that sense. So we'll see what happens. Maybe my TBR just might be my good old TBR and won't be connected to seasons that much. Or maybe it will. Actually, that does remind me of my last thing I'll talk to you about on this snippet. I am interested in this Japanese, even just kind of for the calendar aspect of it, more than, well, also just kind of because it's an interesting idea, is breaking down the years in different ways. And you have your basic seasons, but the Japanese idea of micro seasons. So basically they split the year into 10 different parts, and then each 10th is split again into micro seasons. So the whole year is every 4 or 5 days, a new micro season starts, and they all have names to do with plants or the temperature or the rain, and it's sort of like a farmer's almanac, Japanese style. And I just like the idea of breaking down sections of the year in a different way that you can sort of demarcate. And so one thing I wanted to do is sort of in my journal just say which micro season we're in when we're in a new one, and kind of use it as a sort of decoration inspiration, like put something in it that's related to that micro season. I'll see if I can get you, if people are interested, a list of them. I have a book about them, but the book is sort of irritating because it just talks about them and it doesn't give the dates. And I'm sort of obsessed with categorization and dates and things, and so that's kind of a little bit annoying for me. But I did find and print out a list of all the different micro seasons. Hope everyone is well, and I will continue with a little bit more footage of my day, and hope you like the garden footage in the beginning, because our garden is a little wild. Bill actually did admit to me that the reason why there's so many of the partridge pea in our seeding area is that he did actually spill seed there, and voila, we are now surrounded by partridge peas. And I said, it's a little bit, sitting there among the bees. And he said, it's fine, just sit there. I mean, I can do that, but there is a part of me that wants a sort of nice, orderly German garden and not a completely wild space. But in a way, I think it's funny that we're at odds there a little bit. And I don't mind that much. Of course, I think it looks lovely. It does look lovely. So who am I to say anything, since I'm not a garden person at all? I still wouldn't mind having some indoor plants, but I'm so wary of cats that I'm not sure. So maybe that's another thing I'll think about. And also other kinds of crafts, although I do like the idea of sort of crocheting, but I don't know, am I really going to do it? Is it really something that, how motivated am I? We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. It's exciting. Talk to you later, and yeah, I'll finish up this part of the vlog. Bye. I get sidetracked by Ancestry, like dipping into it, and so here is an example of why. So Caroline Amy Cora Agar, my 5th cousin, once removed. So yeah, medium far away. She was born in 1899, and she gets married to Anthony Buffon Zuchlik, who was born in 1953, making him 23 and her 70. They got married in 1977, 78. She's in her 70s and she marries a 20-year-old guy. And I'm like, and I just had to check that it really happened, and it actually did happen, but there's nothing else. Like, about it. But I mean, I guess, yeah, it happens the other way around more commonly. But even that would be bad, and I'm not sure how I feel about this wedding, but whatever, I guess. Anyway, that's what I mean by getting sidetracked. And I am on my way to put this lovely card in the mailbox, and it's off to Colorado, and then we'll move on. And I think I need to move out of my chair a little bit and get somewhere else to sit and read my books or something. We'll see. Yeah, desk sitting is not is not good for my back so much. Hey, what's going on, Lily? What you doing? What you doing, Lily? Come sit on me. No? Come sit on me. Come sit on me. I'm being boring. Fine. I'm just not you, but is it Laverne or Shirley? Laverne?
Oh, that's Laverne.
It's Laverne. Hi, Laverne. Hi. Hi. Yeah, hi, baby. Oh, look, Shirley's in the box. And Mr. T's outside. This might be the end of the vlog, guys. Yeah, we'll see. You gonna come sit on me, Shirley? Lily? You gonna come sit on me? You gonna come sit on me? Baby? Oh, 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 hi! Come here, baby. I'm on it. I'm on it. Come sit on me. Don't show my legs. But no tootsies. Come sit on me. Hi, baby. This is Laverne. I'm on it. Hi. Hi, baby. She won't stay long. You sitting on me? Hmm? Oh, okay. Just passing through. I should read my book. This is my book. Okay, guys. I think that's the end of the vlog. I'll put this up and we'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, here she comes back. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's wondering about. She's wondering about. Bye. Bye. Oh, Laverne. You want to go there? Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Okay.